I think something I've learned in this documentary is that things in Derby do tend to repeat themselves. So when I was interviewing Lulu and Cupid, talking about sort of the original downfall of TCRD, which they kind of felt was because of some of that lack of emphasis on recreational skaters, I see the same things happening now. So I'm a little bit worried that we're gonna end up in the same boat at some point, but also sometimes you just can't stop history from repeating itself, right?
Okay, our next thing is who we are. So continuing with these activities, let's try to have a discussion around it. So the rookies were sitting around and started a little discussion around competitive and recreational and just how they felt about things. And I would love to hear some more about what people want from the league.
After our seeding game, we held a league meeting where one of the topics was recreational versus competitive play. League members were asked to put a post-it note under recreational or competitive to show which they were more interested in. It ended up being a 50-50 split.
I can tell you guys, I put one post-it note on each recreational and competitive because I think it's really important that Terminal City focuses on both of those things. I think that any time that you focus on one more than the other, there is a group of folks that are going to suffer for that.
I did choose to do the 2 recreational currently, but who knows? I mean, maybe next year I might want to get more into, competitive. And I guess my fear was too is I don't want there to be a divide. We're all in the same league, working together. I don't want it to be like one versus the other. I don't want there to be a divide.
I started as somebody who had never done competitive sport, hadn't really done very much sport at the time, and had no skating experience. So I had that experience of joining, but I had gone to a game and went, this is the thing I want to do. But it is a lot and it is hard, and you do need to work on it in your own time. We do not have a lot of track time, but competitive is a range, right? I don't want to play Division 1 competitive. I do not have that time or energy in this stage of my life, but I want to play competitively with myself. I want to get better. I want to win games. It is a game with a winner.
I have been here since October 2018, and I've been a rookie that entire time, in my own view, because I have not taken care of my body because I haven't known how. And I think that's a very important thing to remember when we're teaching new people how to skate, is that not everyone is athletic to start.
We could, as a group, be in a very different place 1 year from now. And that's why I think it's important that we keep talking about this, right? Keep talking about it, because it will change for all of us, right? I shared with the rookies earlier that I stopped competitive play in 2011 because I got cancer. And it is the reason that I still play roller derby today, because I did not push my body beyond what it could do for the past 13 years. I did just what I could do, right? And you need to have a recreational team for those people to play on, right? And those life emergencies are gonna happen to all of us, and we're still gonna wanna play, right?
As you can see, there's a lot of opinions about our league and where we should go next, and considerations that we have to keep in mind as we're deciding who we want to be. If I could sum up the last 12 months at TCRD, I would say it's really come down to trying to figure out who we are. And I think the most difficult part of that is most of us are trying to figure out who we are as individuals at the same time.
As much as I love the team and the community aspect, it is a personal journey. And what I always say about roller derby is, I guess much like any sport, it's 50% a team thing, but it's a 50% a journey that you're going on with yourself.
Because roller derby attracts a lot of historically marginalized communities, it does mean a lot of us in the league have spent a lot of time discovering who we are in our lifetimes. We might be figuring out our gender identity, our sexuality, or we're just realizing for the first time that we're an athlete.
Being an Indigenous skater in roller derby, I feel like has been an interesting experience. The teams who I've skated with in the past have not had too many people of color on the team. Like, it's been mostly white folks. I recognize that, like, I am fair-skinned, and I don't like the term white passing, but for lack of a better term, I am white passing in a lot of spaces. And I felt like I've had to lean into that a lot more, at the expense of, like, yeah, showing up as my whole self, as my true self. I'm trans, non-binary, and two-spirit. I'm 24 and first came out almost 11 years ago now. My relationship with gender stuff has been a complicated one, and one that has been a long journey that I think is still ongoing, and I don't think there's an end to it. I think it is something that is a part of me that I've just come to accept will be, like, it's gonna show up in different ways, and I'm gonna have different experiences with it kind of as I continue living. As a trans person, being hyper aware of, like, how other people perceive me, both, like, in just, like, everyday life, just when I'm walking down the street, when I'm, like, minding my own business, or, like, when I'm shopping for clothes, like, are people wondering what I'm doing in whatever department? Or I am so paranoid about people, like, I don't know, looking at me weirdly for picking one gendered washroom over the other, to the point that I will not go to the bathroom in public if there is not a gender neutral bathroom. I think I just want to be able to exist without, like, people looking at me weirdly, or looking at me and me worrying about them thinking about, like, this puzzle of trying to figure out what I am, or, like, what's in my pants. Like, I don't, it's so tiring.
When you bring together a bunch of minority individuals, there tends to be a lot of building each other up rather than tearing each other down. So it's really, on whole, there's drama, but, like, you know, on a holistic level, it's very wholesome. And that's incredible.
I hope, at least, that everybody could feel like they belong to the league, like, at least a little bit. And I certainly feel like it's one of the first places where I felt a place of belonging.
I think there's a lot of non-conventional thinking in the roller derby community, and also a willingness, not beyond willingness, like, even a desire to seek out different ways of being and doing it together.
In a way, you have to do it together. It's not something you can do individually. And being able to be there with everybody and, like, contribute really, makes me feel invested and makes me keep wanting to come back.
I think what's really unique about roller derby is that it does have a reputation as being a sport for queer women, but, like, not only queer women, but sort of, like, alternative women. There's, like, a celebration of femininity, there's a celebration of masculinity, and there's a celebration of everything in between that as well.
You know, it's a really welcoming community, with women's flat track roller derby being very inclusive of trans and non-binary identities as well.
There's a few different governing bodies in roller derby. One of them is the Women's Flat Track Roller Derby Association, or the WFTDA, which is what Terminal City plays under. And so their gender policy is basically that any person who feels that a women's flat track league is the space for them is welcome to skate. So it is not prescriptive in terms of what that actually means in terms of gender expression or gender identity. It's just, if you feel that this is a space for you, then it is a space for you.
When I was in college, I had rollerblades, and I kind of traveled around the town to use the rollerblades for commuting. And that included commuting at very high speeds in traffic and things like that. So there was a lot of close calls that I probably should have been injured in, but luckily it wasn't. But when I decided After going to a number of roller derby games, that it was something I really wanted to do, I went and got gear and then went practicing at the local rink for a few months before I got up the guts to actually apply to the local leagues. I knew it was something that I would like to try. I was very leery at the time of being like perceived as trying to like force my way into a space that I wouldn't be welcome in, but I still wanted to try it, and I think even then more so than now, very much billed as a thing for like female empowerment. I was worried that it would be seen that it would be like taking away from that joining the league. Part of that was the confidence in my own identity and things like that, because I'd only sort of come out in around late 2009. I do like to poke fun at the psychology folks a little bit, and that's what my roller derby number alludes to. The 302 had to be trimmed. It was originally 302.85, which is the DSM-4 code for adult onset transsexuality back in the day. So that is where the source of that number came from. And it was always a bit of a pet peeve of mine that that was categorized in the same section of the DSM-4 as necrophilia, bestiality, and a bunch of other things that we really don't feel we should be lumped in with. The roller derby community has been a second family. It's been incredibly supportive for me. It's just like a great microcosm of society that really is trying to be about lifting each other up and pushing each other forward.
There is something so special about the roller derby community. It means so much to so many people. It's a, quote, fun, unquote, hobby that becomes very serious for a lot of us. To be honest, a lot of my motivation for making this series was to try and figure out why so many of us love roller derby so much, even when we're often sacrificing both body and soul to be a part of it.
I'd say everybody gets injured to some extent. Like how bad the injury is kind of varies.
Roller derby is a contact sport, so we have to have a first aid person at every practice because injuries happen. We see a lot of strains and sprains. We've seen a good couple of fractures and a good couple of dislocations. I would say like soft tissue things are like the most common, and concussions.
I had hurt myself on the track earlier and went back out and tore my PCL. It took me out for 5 months. I'd still try to come out and do coaching or come out and be an NSO, which is a non-skating official, just to kind of keep myself still involved, because I saw a lot of other people get injured and not, and they just sort of faded out. Dealing with an injury for the past 9 months sucks. It sucks when you feel like you're making a lot of progress and you're doing really great to be sidelined, and watching all the people who were sort of at the same level as you start to surpass you, and you know that they are because you can watch them. It's really exciting to see how much they're growing, but at the same time you realize that you are stunted or even lower than where you were before because you have to regain all of those skills, the muscles, etc. Team gets really excited that I'm back on the track, and they kind of push me around probably a little more than they should. But it's nice to feel like they're excited to have me back on the track, even if I know that I'm not going to be able to play at the same level that they're at. And it's going to be a long time, if at all, that I will.
So I actually wear 2 braces to play roller derby. Basically what happened was over the beginning of the pandemic, I started gradually getting these neurological symptoms, and then we found out that I had an infection in my brain. So for a while I was unable to move my leg or really use a lot of my arm, and then I did the treatment. I got a lot better, but I do still have I have to wear a brace for my foot doesn't come up on its own, and then my last 2 fingers are totally stuck here. It's just kind of a constant battle of I want to participate, but I don't want to do too much so that I'm in pain. I'm always in pain, but I don't want to do so much that I'm unable to do anything else.
So, the big question, who is Terminal City? At the time I'm recording this narration, that league meeting was quite a few months ago. And I wish I could say we've completely figured everything out since then,
But the reality is we haven't. Everything is still a work in progress. But I think that's okay, and I think that's normal. Since that league meeting, we've implemented a number of different things to try and help our recreational skaters feel more included, but really only time will tell if we've done enough. We're just a bunch of misfits, weirdos, and individuals who have found each other through luck and circumstance, who are all trying our best and who are lifting each other up in the best ways we can. Everything else, I hope, will come with time, as long as we keep listening to each other. And as for what's next...
So it's October 24 right now. We have a couple of upcoming things that involve GVRD.
GVRDA is the Greater Vancouver Roller Derby Association, and they're the other local league that we tried to merge with and we are now friendly rivals with.
There's been a contentious relationship with them in the past. I think we have worked very hard to build a good relationship with them now. I would categorize GVRD as our frenemies.
I love GVRD. I feel like we shouldn't, but I do.
This Sunday, we are going to be seeding their B charter team, which is really exciting. So a seeding game is a game that you play to get your initial ranking on the WFTDA ranking charts.
So GVRDA, they have two charter teams. One is their A-level, highest level charter team, and they've been around for a while, and they just recently made their B-level, so like slightly lower level charter team.
A charter team is a group of selected skaters from a league who are eligible to play in WFTDA games.
So to get onto the WFTDA rankings, their B-level charter team needed a seeding game.
Since our team is already on the WFTDA rankings, GVRDA's B team will play our team to see where they should be placed on the rankings. If they lose, they'll be ranked below us, and if they beat us, they'll be ranked above us.
I would say Terminal City used to be the competitive league locally, and GVRD was sort of considered, I don't want to call them a recreational league because they were still competitive and they were still like hard hitting, hard playing, but seemed maybe more fun versus more competition. Like if you wanted to play competitive derby and play in the WFTDA, you came and you tried out for Terminal City. And I think that role has actually switched since COVID has happened. I think if you want to play competitive roller derby locally right now, you try out for GVRD because they are the highest skill team at the moment.
To be honest, I think they're probably gonna kick our butts. Like, I'm gonna be real here, but yeah.
GVRDA has basically clobbered us in every game that we've ever played against them.
So since COVID, we definitely have not won any games against GVRD. We are trying to edge our way closer to eventually beating them.
Do you think we will beat them in the future?
I feel like eventually we'll be a good competitor for GVRD.
It's a very diplomatic answer. So the game was actually crazy. I would say it was one, if not, I would say, actually yes, it was my favorite game that I have ever played. When we started playing, we actually picked up a really big lead in the first half. We were winning by quite a lot of points, which was honestly shocking to me. And at halftime, I don't know what GVRDA did, but they did something. They changed their strategy. And in the second half, they were catching up with us. So I was like watching the score. I think in halftime, I don't remember what the score was, but we were maybe up by like 60 points. And they just started slowly closing that gap. And so by the time we got to the very last jam of the whole game, we were basically tied. And obviously, it was a big moment for our team because since the rebuild, we have never come close to beating GVRDA. And so that moment before that last jam, like I just remember feeling so nervous because it was like, it kind of felt like our one shot to maybe beat them. So I was on for the very last jam, and Easy, who was, she's like an amazing jammer, came out and was talking to us and was like, okay, you guys have to catch their jammer and you have to let me get lead. We have to win by like getting lead for this jam. So yeah, there was just, I think, a lot of tension from both sides at that last jam because we were basically at a tie. So in that jam, the very last jam, we started at a bit of an advantage because GVRDA actually had 2 blockers who had penalties. So they started with less players. And yeah, we just managed to kind of keep their jammer for a little while. Easy went out and got lead. And she was able to pick up enough points and run out the clock enough that we were able to win. Everyone kind of looked like they were maybe about to cry. Like, I think we were really overwhelmed with just like being really proud of ourselves. One of the GVRDA players came up to me after and just kind of said like, you guys should be so proud of yourself because your team has really come together. And I did.